Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I wanted to get ready with me whilst discussing a newer movie release, which is from one of my favorite series of all time, The School for Good and Evil, which is produced by Netflix. So if you guys have watched my video from like 2 years ago, I think, from my favorite book series from high school, that was like top 3. It was so good. It literally shaped my personality for a whole term. Yeah, it was a lot. So I wanted to talk to you guys about the movie release, which was much anticipated in the fandom, and by me, obviously. I just had to watch it, and there were a few things I wanted to talk about. So yeah, that's what this video is about. It's something new, a new type of video format. I want to make a series where I just get ready with me and talk about, you know, just some random nitbits and topics. So I want to do a Rant and Bant series. Hopefully it'll take off. We'll see how it goes. That's the premise of today's video. Obviously there's no hate intentioned because I don't want to spread a lot of negative hate, but just some opinions about things I think the film did well and could improve on. And let's get to the video. I'm starting off with the Inika Organic Toning Mist. This is a newer product I've tried out and I really like it. The spritz is very fine and it's just a really nice base for my makeup. Next, I want to go in with the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. This is a little sample I've gotten and I've been using it so much. I love it and it really helps my makeup last all day. And I love the, you know, putty and thick moisturizer consistency on this. It just feels really luxurious. You can see I love applying it to my T-zone. Even though this is a cream consistency, it doesn't make my skin oily. It just kind of grips the makeup a lot more, which I appreciate tons. I also just love using my fingers for it because the warmth really spreads it out and I don't mind an uneven coat. I think it looks better this way. Now let's wait for that to settle in a little bit. Let's talk about the movie. I think the movie was something that everyone waited for a long time. When I was in high school, I actually emailed the author, Somain, and I said, hey, I love your book series and I'm just a huge fan. And he replied like, look, that's awesome. We're actually getting a movie made, so follow the journey a little bit. And that was when I was in year 8. So that means it was 6 years ago. And yeah, I'm just so glad it actually came out. First thing first, I really liked the fact they actually included the headmasters at the start of the movie. It kind of gave it a little bit of a premise and it set the scene. We really knew what was going on. There was one good, one bad. I felt like it was just a little bit disjointed though because it felt a bit too fantasy related immediately and there was a lot of like magic, which is definitely the vibe that I was going for, but it might be a little bit confusing for people who haven't actually, you know, read the books. It's just 2 people fighting and suddenly it switches to the woods of 2 girls. So I think they could have included that, but probably have more explanation going on with it. But yeah, I really like how they included the schoolmasters. That was really, really good. Now I'm going to apply some concealer and that is it for today. I want to keep it quite light. For my base, I'm going for a very heavy eye makeup, so I wanted to keep everything else low-key. I think the main thing for me, I really like the casting. I think their choice of characters are nice and the actors and actresses did a really good job portraying the characters they were meant to. I think they did a good job with acting. The special effects were on point, really, really high quality and great production. I really liked it and I also really liked the fact that the, you know, creatures were realistic and the castles and all the special effects were really, really good. So hats off to Netflix for doing that. That was incredible. I also do like the over-the-top dresses from The School for Good and The School for Evil. I liked how it was predominantly black, etc. It was really well done. I also love the fact that some of the professors were literally such great actors as well, like Charlize Theron. Hello! Literally awesome, but she did give Mad Hatter vibes, which I was kind of like, okay. I mean, she can pull off anything, but it was not the look I think Lady Lesser was going for, but hey, it's Charlize Theron. Why are we complaining, am I right? She is literally one of the best actresses in the world. I love her films, so that was awesome for me to see. Also, Kerry Washington as Professor Dovey is so cute. She literally gives the fairy godmother vibes. Even for me, when I was reading the books, Professor Dovey was low-key really annoying at first. I did not like her at all. I just thought she was very superficial and yeah, she wasn't good. I didn't think she was good, and I think that's something I really liked about the movies as well, they really captured the fact that not all the teachers were super nice, not everyone was completely good or evil. I think they did complete that really well. So they always brought in the themes that, hey, not everyone is completely good or evil. Even Agatha says that to Tedros in the film, like, Sophie isn't completely good, but she isn't completely evil either, and that's like all of us. And I think that's a really good thing. They captured that really well, and it mostly followed the storyline good. It had the trial for Tails, but the reason behind it was a little bit, they distorted a lot of the key facts and I think plots of the story. They kind of just made it up. The trial for Tails was literally a tradition, so I didn't think that was too much. And then like the annual battle between the two schools, that was also a tradition thing, so I don't really know what was happening when they showcased their talents. One other thing is the trailer for this movie was so good. It literally made me think, you know what, maybe they did an amazing job recreating a movie from a book franchise for once. I saw the special effects for Hester and I literally was like gasping. It was so good. It was exactly how I imagined the tattooed dragon on her, and it was, the demon, and it just was so good. I really like that. Now we're going to do some setting powder just to get my face all clean. Now let's talk about some things that I think the film could have improved on. I touched base on this earlier. I think they kind of removed a lot of the original plot, which pissed me off a little bit, honestly. I think some of it just, I don't know why they got rid of it. It just made more sense in the books. The book wasn't perfect, obviously, but it was a lot better than the film, we have to admit that. And I'll start first off with something that I think is quite controversial. I think this film was trying to include diversity for the sake of diversity, and they weren't really trying to, be diverse, if that makes sense. Because I like the casting and the actual actresses and how they acted, but I was really annoyed at the casting of Agatha and the whole character development of Agatha in the film. I think for me at least, it was a really important factor that Agatha was pale as a ghost and she looked like a skeleton basically. She was just that typical goth girl, right? And she had like that sleek, oily Snape-like hair. I think that just like really added to her personality, and I don't like how the film didn't focus enough on the fact that appearance made a lot of differences to someone's characterization, because that actually taught me a lesson. The prettier you look, the more society treated you better. The uglier you look, you were given obvious disadvantages, and I didn't like how they actually didn't really mention that too much. I mean, Agatha truly, okay, what pissed me off about Agatha from the film was, in this movie she was giving off, I'm not like other girls vibes. Like, I am different. I don't talk to boys. I'm cool. Like, she was giving off the wrong vibes. Agatha was not liked in the film because she was genuinely unlikable. Like, hello, she farted in fairies' faces. And I just didn't like the fact how this film, she was always talking to Tedros and Tedros was always like interested in her. That was not how it went down. Tedros legit hated her. He was like, this girl is not it. Like, first of all, she's ugly. Second of all, she doesn't like me, which is not right. And like, literally, she's just not participating in classes. She's not really doing anything. I like Sophie because she's cute. Honestly, Tedros was a massive jerk in the books, and I like that because it showed character development from later on. I mean, later on in the other series, he wasn't much better, but it wasn't that we gave him an excuse that he was always good because he was the king of Arthur. It was more like he was stuck up, and, that was a part of it, and I like that. I just think that, Agatha was meant to be this like really pale, just genuinely unlikable girl, but we know deep down she is good, and that resonated with me a lot because sometimes if you're a nice person, it doesn't mean it will translate to other people. You give off standoffish, cold emotions and feelings and demeanors to people, and that could misjudge you, and that was something the book was all about. You need to get to know someone before you know if they're truly good or evil. So yeah, I was kind of mad that Agatha was not casted the way she looked like appearance wise. And let's be real, Agatha was really pretty in this film. The actress is so pretty, and I know for like a box office point of view, you probably want like more beautiful actor and actresses just so, you know, it can attract more audiences. That's Hollywood. That's how films work. If you're more attractive, you get in more like views and things like that. So that makes sense. But yeah, I just think we would have been better off if we just kept their normal physical appearances. Sophie was good though. Like Sophie gave the princess vibes I was looking for. I really like that. If you haven't read the next few books in the chapter series, skip the next like 10 seconds. Sophie and Agatha are sisters. I don't know. Maybe I'm just bad with biology, but even if their mother was black, I don't think Sophie can come out with like blonde hair, blue eyes, right? So, you know, like biologically speaking, they kind of need to be the same race because they share a mother and all stuff. Yeah. I don't know. It just really ticks me off when films and movies purposely try to include diversity for the sake of diversity and it kind of doesn't go with the plot. I get mad for that because I think diversity is about truly being inclusive, not for the sake of we need to be inclusive, so I'm adding these people in. If you really want to be inclusive, Annadale was an albino, and if you really want to be inclusive, you would have really stayed true with that. I just think that, you know, there was a lot of diversity in the films. I really liked how they had the Asian princess. That was nice. It was like true to the books, but you know, it's just sometimes diversity is not always about trying to chuck in someone in there. It's about, you know, if it makes sense or not. Like Michelle Yeoh was great in that because that princess really didn't do much. So it's okay if you can like change up the characters. I'm not talking about something like Lavender Brown situation in Harry Potter where she was black and suddenly she had a few lines, she was white. That was not what I was going for, but you know, yeah. As you can see, I'm not very happy with the casting of Agatha, to be honest, but her acting was good. Personality on the movie was kind of yikes. So if in case you didn't get that, I didn't like how she had pick me and I'm not like other girls vibes. I liked her because she was truly annoying in the books. My hair is falling apart from this, but yes, with all that, I did all my blushes and put some on your nose because it's, you know, trending on the internet that I'm cold vibes, so let's do that. Redid my hair a little bit, but let's get back to ranting. Now let's put on some highlighter. I think one main thing they missed out on the films was why Sophie was cast into School for Good and Evil, into School for Evil, my bad, was that Sophie was not a good person. Like, she did all those things. You know, Sophie gives me Dorian Gray vibes. At the end of the film, he's like, I need to do good to see if I can revert the painting. It was like a similar thing with Sophie. She did all these great things so she can try get to the school for good, right? It had a lot of motives and intentions. It wasn't like Agatha. She truly did it because she believed that was right. So I think that was something we missed out in the films. They gave a really cute backstory on how they met, etc. You know, when they were kids and like other children in the town were bullying them, all that. I think that was cute, but the main thing was Sophie saw Agatha as her good deed. Sophie was the vainest girl on earth. She had like, I believe, 9 hours of beauty sleep. She like did the cucumber mask. She was the K-beauty influencer we didn't know we needed back in like the 12th century or wherever they were set, right? I just think that because they gave Sophie and Agatha a friendship backstory, it missed the mark about how evil Sophie really was. Especially, I remember the part when I was reading it for the first time when I was younger. I was so shocked that she actually pushed the wolf into the river. I mean, in the film, Lady Lesso cut off her hair, which I actually think makes sense. I don't really mind that because she's a professor trying to, you know, get her to maximize her potential. I don't think that's a bad thing. I just think that they could have kept some of the parts where Sophie was truly a selfish little hag and she wasn't nice, and that would explain a lot. Like, we would understand why she was in the school for evil, whereas this one, it kind of was just like, huh, you know, why is she there? But for us who read the books, we kind of know why, if that makes sense. I guess this adds to confusion of why she's sorted in the school for evil because she seems so nice. For today's eye look, we're going to use Pat McGrath's Bronze Seduction. I'm going to go for a very sparkly look. Let's go in first with this brown to set the lids. Another thing I wanted to mention was I wish in the movies they kept the fact that they knew children being kidnapped was a part of a tradition almost. That was what made Sophie so weird. It's because everyone dreaded being kidnapped, yet Sophie was here like, please kidnap me. I think she put cookies out on her windowsill as well. So people knew that children were getting kidnapped and it was her dream to be kidnapped. So that's what made her stand out. Everyone thought she was a bit weird and they left that out. They made it seem like they didn't know. They found out in the book owner's store, etc. It was just, I think it kind of took out a large part about their personalities and who they were, which was a huge shame. I really liked the characterization of Sophie and Agatha in the books. And Agatha just from the beginning and get-go never wanted to go to that school, so I think that was good, that was maintained, and at the end that's why it explained it, they just wanted to go home rather than staying with their happily ever afters. I think I want to go back to the idea of, you know, appearance versus reality. That was like a big thing for me in the books. It was that Agatha, like I said, she was ugly throughout the film. She never thought she was beautiful, and that's why she didn't belong in a school for good, because everyone, not only were they from a family of princesses and princes and all that jazz, they were truly beautiful. Like Beatrice, she was a horrible human, but she was stunning. And one of the biggest things for me was that they left out the scene where Agatha went to Dovey and said, I'm not beautiful, that's why I don't belong here. And she has this whole idea, and it really shows her insecurities at how she looks. Even though she portrays herself as this really strong person, deep down she is still a little girl who wants some approval and love and recognition from everyone. Dovey did this whole transformation for her in the locker rooms, but in reality she never changed her, and Agatha was smiling everywhere. Everyone treated her differently because she was confident. That was such a big part about the books for me. It was one of the most important, if not the most important scenes for me. And I'm so sad they left that out. I did see, however, there were bloopers where they did shoot it, but they just never cut it into a film, which, yeah. And afterwards, the whole idea of your nemesis getting stronger while you get weaker and all that jazz, that's when Sophie turned into a hag and started growing those warts and things like that. And that's when Agatha truly became beautiful, and in the Circus of Talents, that's when Tedros asked for her hand and gave her a rose for like the ball, I'm pretty sure. And it was a big moment because Tedros, like I said, he was like going back and forth, like, do I actually like Sophie? Do I actually like Agatha? Like, what's going on? So that was a moment where it really set in stone. He liked Agatha, and yeah, it was like a full circle moment. So I wish they included that part. But I guess one thing is, this is a movie, so there's not much you can include in like 2 hours. I mean, you can include quite a lot, but you obviously can't satisfy every need. It would have been better off if they made a TV show, but again, budget-wise, I can see it was a little bit difficult. So yeah, I just wish they elongated that part of the series. That was really, really strong. And take this shade and pat it on the inner corners. Also, the whole idea of Agatha turning into a cockroach to help Sophie study and Agatha loving studying whatever was in the school for evil was completely missed out. That's why in the book, even back then, we were thinking, you know what, does she actually belong in the school for good, or does she belong in evil? Because she's enjoying life, studying like, you know, uglification and like spells and hexes and all that jazz. So that was a really big part, her turning into a cockroach and then helping her in the trial for Tails. And that's the whole part where Tedros is like, why did Agatha save me and you didn't, right? So I mean, that was a big part that could have been included in the films. And when Agatha crosses the bridge, it was the whole like good with good, evil with evil, or there'll be an upheaval, and then she says some horrible things and she gets into a school for evil. And that really solidifies the idea there's good and evil in everyone, and it's not absolute. Taking combination of these two special shades, now taking this pink special shade and layering it on the outer corners. Also, now let's talk about missing characters. Where was August Seder? Mate literally carried the plot. Like, he was the most important part within the story. Him being able to see the future, and then later on him destroying the evil schoolmaster. That was literally the most important part of the novel. And also the double-headed dog, I think Callus and Pollux, they weren't there either. That's okay, I don't think they added too much. Like, they were you know, they were interesting, but I do think it's okay, it's sufficient, but I think they would have been better off if they included August Seder. He was really important. So I wish they included him in it. He really, I think, helped the characters quite a bit, and he was the only teacher that moved between both schools, and I think, yeah, that would have been something that was really interesting to look at. A little bit of the red and just highlighting the outer bottom lashes. I'm really loving the trend of the I just cried makeup, so that's something I've been using a lot. Not going to put on any eyeliner because I want to keep the glitter the center of attention. Quickly curl my lashes and put on some mascara. On second thoughts, I'm going to add some eyeliner. I think it'll really amp this look up a little bit more. I want to keep the lips quite clean, so I'm going to use a little bit of Wayne Goss's Hazelnut on the center and then blot it out with some lip balm. Now to finish the look off, going to use some setting spray. Look how close I am to finishing this. I'm so happy. Whilst I finish for this to dry, I just want to add the quick thing. I found Hawk cuter than Tedros, like the actor. Like I literally found Hawk really cute. Just a personal opinion. And also he's a man wolf, not a werewolf, so we need to do something. Oh, one thing, I really love Dot. The character is just so cute. The casting was spot on. I liked how she was a little bit more curvy, and the chocolate scene was adorable. I love Dot. Dot was literally the cutest thing that happened to the school for evil. The fact she ate like extra worms for Sophie, that shows you how selfish Sophie really was. She was chasing a prince and a hot guy while someone was eating like graveyard worms for her. Like that was a big thing. Yeah, there was just like a lot of details they missed out, but I don't think those were like big things. The biggest ones were definitely, you know, like in my opinion, the forced inclusivity and inaccurate casting for like physical appearances, missing characters like August Seder, and then just things like the circus of talents and all that jazz. I think those were quite important. They should have included that. Alright guys, that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching and staying with me while I rant about one of my favorite book franchises and the movie remake. Obviously, these opinions are all my own. I don't mean to really like lash out at them and tear them apart just like what I did for the last 30 minutes. But that being said, it just really answered my fandom, and I think it did great things for me. I'm really happy they moved the movie, but there are a few things I think would have been done better if they redid it. So yeah, let me know, do you like these styles of videos? Obviously it's my first one. I'll try to get better at it, doing more conversations. I know today I was kind of uneven between it, but I think this was quite fun. Let me know if you want me to do more of these rant and bants, and just what other topics you would like me to talk about, because I can go on about books and like movie remakes for like ever. It's literally one of the best things I like to talk about, and when I get ready, I talk to myself anyway, so might as well film it, am I right? So that is it for today's video. Let me know what you would like to see in the future. Please like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys for the next video. Bye everyone.